Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. I'm back. I'm going to be doing another movie review, so I hope you find this one interesting. This is a horror film from Australia, English language, released in the year 2010, directed by Josh Reed, and this film is called Primal. And the story to Primal is as follows. Anya, Mel, and four friends join anthropology student Dace on a journey to study a remote ancient rock painting. Their excitement vanishes when Mel becomes delirious after skinny dipping in a waterhole. Feverish, bleeding, confused, she physically and mentally regresses into a vicious predatory state. Mel has gone primal. Mel's lover and friends realise that they are the prey as she savagely hunts them down. Their only hope of survival is to escape to a cave, where Anya learns too late the dark meaning of the rock art they came to study. So the movie starts off in this very remote area in Australia. Dace, who is an anthropology student, has invited some of his friends along for a camping trip so Dace can study this Aboriginal rock art. So he gets there, they all get there, they set up their tents, they're having a little bit of fun. Dace is doing the study. You get a little bit of an insight into the rock art. Very beautiful and mysterious rock art, I might say. And then when nighttime approaches, Mel, one of the females of this group, decides to go skinny dipping in a nearby watering hole. So after she gets out of this watering hole, she feels really strange, and something has actually bitten her. So her health begins to deteriorate rapidly, and pretty soon she starts to go primal. She starts to gain these animalistic characteristics. She's getting superhuman strength, and she's starting to get very sharp teeth. Her mouth is very bloody, and she's starting to get vicious. So before long, she escapes into the wilderness, and this is where she starts to savagely hunt down the friends. So what started off as a friend has turned into their enemy, and they seek refuge in the cave. Now, inside this cave where the rock art is, this is where they learn the true meaning of this rock art, and they realise that they are just as in much danger inside the cave as they were outside. So what happens at that point on, and whether or not the friends can get out of this dilemma in one piece, is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on Primal. This is a really strange experience. Now, it feels like Josh Reed, the director, has a split personality. On one side, it's the good Josh Reed, and the good Josh Reed has a very good cinematography. It's a throwback to Ozploitation classics of the 70s, not so much in the quality of production, although this production is very good. But why I make the comparison is because in the 70s, it was basically they felt like movies. They didn't feel like these TV soap opera dramas that you get littered in Australian film industry these days. They felt like real films that were taking a risk. And this movie does take a risk. It's got a lot of gore. It's very nasty, and it feels like, a cut above the norm as far as Australian cinema is concerned. So it is a throwback to the Australian glory days in cinema, which is something I really appreciate, and I'm sure a lot of people out there will also appreciate. It has the actors. I didn't really like the characters. They were very stereotypical, very unlikable, but for a film like this, it never takes itself too seriously. So that is the best part of the movie, is that you're always having fun, and the film never loses sight of what it wants to be. So you don't really need character development. What you need to see is the scary parts, and basically seeing these friends dispatched. So it doesn't rely on connecting with the characters. It just relies on good old-fashioned suspense and very nasty gore scenes, which is what it has very well done in the first half. The film has a lot of suspense. When Mel, one of the friends, goes down this animalistic path, you can start to feel a lot of fear. It's a very scary film. There's a lot of startling jump scares. When you actually see her rapid deterioration, you feel that the friends are having second thoughts about basically just dispatching her. In a lot of these films, when they start to turn bad, they basically cut the head off at the end of the story. But these friends start to think, well, that's our friend. She's gone vicious, but she's still our friend. So there's a lot of hesitation there, which is also what I really like, because it gives the characters, although they're unlikable, it gives them a human quality. So I like that aspect where, you're hesitating because, yeah, this person in front of you used to be your friend. Obviously, what made them the person that they used to be is all gone now, but you can't just turn that off and say, dispatch them straight away. So that hesitation there was really cool, because you felt to yourself, yeah, I could understand them not wanting to kill her when they had the chance. So that was a welcome addition as well. And as I said, it's just a very suspenseful film. The anticipation is always there. When she escapes into the wilderness, you don't know where she is, but you feel that she's close by. So it starts to get really creepy. And when she hits you with the attacks, that the attacks have a little bit of CGI in it. Now, the CGI in the first half was good, and I thought it created a lot more of an impact in her attacks. And it's very jump scary, very, very intense stuff. So a lot of this movie was very good, but only in the first half. Now, this is where Josh Reed's alter ego goes into the evil side, the bad director, in that he wants to basically sabotage everything that he's built in the first half. Because what the second half does is go down a completely different road. It goes down a very generic Hollywood road. It goes down, it's just very predictable, very, very silly situations. Now, as I said, the movie never takes itself seriously, but there comes a point where you say to yourself, does this want to be a horror comedy? Or does this want to be a fun popcorn horror film? Now, there is a difference. Fun horror popcorn films, they still have a level of seriousness to it. It's not supposed to be humorous. But in the second half, it does feel a lot humorous. So instead of having a horror comedy and deciding what it wants to be from the get-go, it feels like two different completely films. It feels like one side is serious and the other side is a complete nonsense. It's a complete mess. The CGI is unbelievably pathetic. I have no idea what Josh Reed was thinking. And this is what leads me to believe that maybe this was supposed to be a horror comedy, because it was that bad that I just thought to myself, surely he couldn't have done this by accident. Surely he knew what he was doing, how bad this CGI actually looked. But then I look on the other side and I think to myself, well, it had a really solid foundation. The CGI in the first half wasn't that bad. So why would you completely turn around and butcher it completely? And that's why I say the alter ego. Basically, the good side, the good director, and the bad director, and they're fighting each other. The bad director wants to sabotage everything, and the good director's trying to hold on for as long as possible, but getting to the halfway stage, the bad director takes over. The alter ego has taken over and has basically destroyed everything that the good director had going for it. So, I mean, when I say bad CGI, I mean bad CGI. It was absolutely deplorable. I have no idea what happened, because the first half was really, really good. I thought to myself, wow, this is an absolute gem. But then the second half, I thought, oh my God, how could you take a film and completely just destroy it? It was just unbelievable, and I was really, really disappointed, because especially the fact that this is an Australian film, it feels like a feature film, and to have one half really good and the other half really bad, it was really disappointing. It's criminal, and it's basically a crime against cinema to have such a good premise, have such a good foundation, but completely butcher it in a very poor execution. So overall for Primal, I'm only going to give it 2 stars. It really should have been a 4 or 4.5. But yeah, as I said, it was unbelievable how badly they messed it up in the end, and that will put a lot of people off. But who knows, maybe you'll get something more out of it than I did, which is why I would still say go and see it, because there is a lot of positives in it, but unfortunately the negatives are mega negatives. So unfortunate, but what can you do? So that's my review of Primal. This is one of the most disappointing experiences I've had, but yeah, hopefully in the future, this same director can learn from the mistakes and make a better film. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep watching movies, and I'll see you.